I know. Auth can be a mess. And if you're not doing Auth as your main job, it always will be a mess. But it doesn't have to. So if you don't want to pay money for Auth and instead want to rely on free Auth like Auth.js, then stick to this video because I'm going to show you how I did it in one of my projects and what you need to be aware of when implementing Next Auth version 5. So what technology stack did I use? I mainly focused on using Drizzle because I think this is the new kid on the block and I'm not a big fan of Prisma. And the second thing is I used Neon as my database, but you can use any database you want. I think it doesn't need to be Postgres. This is a Postgres database and I really can suggest it because it has a nice and generous free tier and it was really easy to implement and use and they really have good docs. So documentation. Okay, but what type of login do I implement it here? I don't want to use passwords, or I didn't implement the passwords because passwords is not like, it's a little bit old. It has security problems and a passwordless environment makes things a little bit easier. So I used Google and GitHub, the auth providers, and I use the magic links things with Resend. So you get the user who wants to log in, get a link and click that link and is logged in into your application. And then I used Passkeys. Passkeys are very cool. This is like logging in with your face or logging in with your, generally spoken, with your biometry. Like for example, fingerprint, if you have Android phones, or on laptop also fingerprint. So yeah. That's the technologies or the methods I use because I think they are very modern. So now I want to dive into it with you. So I want to give you clear, actionable steps, what you can do, how to implement it. Let's get started. For general things, I would say you start your journey at the Auth.js documentations. Be aware that you are at auth.js.dev because there's these Next Auth things with version 4 and this is now version 5. So be aware you are at auth.js.dev. So here you can see how you install it and all the basic stuff, but I will tell you this documentation is not the best and it will lead to misunderstandings and the misunderstandings will lead to errors and mistakes. And yeah, I would suggest you watch this video first, then head over here and do it, and then you avoid those pitfalls. So the first thing you will set up is this Auth.js file. Here you specify the providers you want to use. I choose Google, GitHub, Resend, and Passkeys, as I already mentioned. I set it up a custom Drizzle adapter. Why did I do that? Because I needed functionality with the passkey thing that is currently not supported in the official Next Auth, just for Prisma, but I wanted it for Drizzle, so I investigated a lot of time to get that working, and I will show you how. But you can, I don't know, I think you don't need that, but if you need that, just choose whatever stands in the documentation if you don't want to have passkeys. For Resend, I needed some, I just specified the API key and where the email should come from, and then I implemented a hook, send verification request, where I just wanted to customize some things, but here you can use this code, but you can also use the code inside of the documentation. Then I have this callback. This is for giving the user ID inside of the session. So I don't need to go to the database all the time if I want a user ID, and I can just retrieve it from the session. And I need this experimental field where I enable webauthn. This is the passkey thing because this is still experimental, but it works good, so you can use it. And I specified some custom pages. For example, if an auth error happens, or if the sign in or the verify request, if you say login with Resend and then you have this customized screen and you can customize this. Okay, so that's the general Auth.js. The next thing you need to specify is this route.ts inside of app, API, auth, Next Auth with those 3 points. And then you have this auth, the route.ts. Very basic, that's just out of the documentation. You can just use that, it works fine. Next thing is the drizzleconfig.ts. Here you need to be aware that in Next.js, the usual name is not .env, it's .env.local, so you need to specify this here. You need to also install this .env. because otherwise the process.env.postgres URL, so the database URL, will not be found. So here you can specify general things for Drizzle, like where's the schema file. We can head over into the schema file. The schema file in Drizzle is where, this is like the database structure you have in your application. So this is a lot here right now. But yeah, Drizzle is not the main topic of this video. So yeah, the schema TS and the driver, I use the PG driver because the Postgres driver makes some problems sometimes. So maybe you should use that as well. And yeah, then we just specify some credentials, and that's basically all for the Drizzle config. So no problems until here, I hope. And the next thing is the DB config. And here it was a little bit tricky because there is this pooling thing, and here I just can tell you how I did it with Neon. So I choose these packages Neon Database Serverless and Drizzle ORM Neon Serverless. Yeah, that was a critical part. We got a lot of errors here inside of this project. And we came up with that because that works. And I will show you how I found out that this is the way I have to go. So for that, we go on the Drizzle ORM page, and here we have this documentation. And there we have this learn thing, and here are tutorials. And here we have, for example, Drizzle with Neon Postgres or Drizzle with Versal Edge functions, because you may encounter problems with the Versal Edge function timeout thing. And well, there are a lot, but stick to the documentation of Drizzle maybe, because here I think the Neon database, yeah, that was a thing I think we implemented here at Neon Database Serverless. And here really can find help to those more specific things, because in the general documentation, you won't find them. So always stick to the docs. So then we need to secure routes. So route protecting should be done with middleware. So we've done it with middleware. And yeah, it's looking like that. A little bit complex, you would say, but it's okay. We're first importing things from the routes. I can show you the file for that. It's routes.ts just, and here I just specified some general things like what are the error routes, what are the auth routes, what are the default login redirects, because all you do in the middleware is just checking what is the route at the moment. So you get it, the next URL from the request. Then you're just checking if the user is logged in, you have this field is logged in. Now you can just make all these things like, is it an API route, is it an auth route, just with this basic JavaScript methods, public routes, includes, and then the actual route at the moment. And then you're just asking, is it an error route? If yes, then return to the local middleware. Is it an API route? Just to the local middleware. And then you can do more specific things like, for example, if the user is logged in and wants to get on the landing page, it was a functionality we didn't want, then we just redirect them to the basic route. So here you can just specify how this should work. And then, yeah, quick shout out to the adapter TS. This is very complex. I would suggest, if you want to use Drizzle and want to make a custom adapter for supporting WebAuthn, these passkeys and face login and that kind of stuff, you should just follow the link in the description and copy that code, because I don't want to go through this now. This is a hell of a mess. We're just overwriting the general methods that are used under the hood and that normally get abstracted from you. And yeah, they are needed. And this adapter TS is then used inside of the schema, for example, because then you need to put it in here into the accounts, where the accounts are saved for logged in users or new users of your application. And then you also need to implement it in the Auth TS here at the top for the Drizzle adapter here. We're implementing it from the adapter page. So yeah, that's a little bit complex. If you want to do that, just copy the code. It's in the description, on my GitHub. Yeah, one thing I didn't show you exactly is how I accomplished it to do this Google thing and GitHub thing. This would make this video a very long video. If you want to see that, how to set it up on the Google Cloud Console or on github.com. Because there you need to set the things up. But I think you can follow the instructions here on the, where is it? Here on the Auth.js thing, because you have here the OAuth and Google, and here read through that and they explain it very well. But if you want a video about that, just write it down to the comments and I can make a video about that. But yeah, on the front end, I have this sign in Google component, for example, where I really very easily just call await sign in with Google here. if somebody clicks this Google icon. And the sign-in function now is just coming from this from the Auth.js function, because it knows Google provider and it's all connected. But you need to set that up. So you need to have this Google Client ID and this Google protected key, and you get that all on the Google Cloud Console and just put it into the env here and it will work. But yeah, just read to the docs to get that work. So this is a simple sign in Google. I have also the sign in Resend, I think, which is just looking like that. But if you want to see this code, just follow the link in the description. There's also the sign in passkey thing. But all you do is always just call the function sign in, which is exported from the this sign in function is actually exported from the Next Auth web auth n. But if you look here, this sign in function is just from the auth.ts, so from this file. And yeah, just head over into this code and implement the front end stuff if you want to have it like I have it. So last thing I maybe show you is how to sign out, but this is also very easy. You just have this button, props.text, here is sign out now, and you can call await sign out, and that's all. So again, sign out is coming from auth.ts. So from here we're exporting the constants, sign in, sign out, auth handlers, and yeah, it really is easy like that. So once you have implemented it, it is very easy to use it in the front end, but the backend part is the hard part. So yeah, maybe some last tips you should follow. One shout out, you should very carefully work with docs. Documentations can lead you to a lot of problems, but they can delight you also a lot. So for Drizzle, for example, I showed you, you need to dive a little bit deeper into the documentation. So not just the overview on the top, go into the tutorial section, the learn section, and really search for doing it for your specific use case. And if you really find no help there, then the second tip I would give to you is that you can use, for example, Discord. Yes, Discord. I was in the Drizzle Discord and I was in the Next Auth Discord, and there I find all those tips on how to do the passkey thing and this custom adapter TS code. So this is not all the code I have written. This is a lot of parts of here are copy pasted from, I think his name was Julius out of Sweden. I found him on Discord, and he posted how to do that with Drizzle. So yeah, that was already all. If you have any questions, put it down in the comments. I try to answer everything. Like that video, subscribe to this channel, and if you want to see more about maybe how to do this with Google and GitHub, so for Auth in general, just write down in the comments, and we'll see each other in the next video. Bye bye.